Earlier this season, we saw the Pittsburgh Steelers absolutely dominate throughout the regular season. They pretty much beat any team that they wanted to. Even though their schedule was easy, they dominated every game with ease. Their defense was looking exceptional as they created many turnovers and also shut down some very good offenses. The offense was also putting together some fantastic yardage and making very good strides from last season, and it helped because they got their quarterback Ben Rothlisberger, though. Since in the last 5 games, we really have seen a very bad Pittsburgh Steelers team. They have not been putting together good offensive production, and their defense has allowed a lot of points against some not very good offenses. What I think is the problem is Ben Rothlisberger is currently in a slump, and this is really the bad time to get into a slump because they're heading into the postseason where if you lose, you go home. What I think you need to do is that there's been a lot of talk about benching Ben Rothlisberger and putting in MAson Rudoph for this final Week 17 game. That's a common move made by NFL teams just so that they can make sure that their starting quarterback does not get hurt, and they'll make sure that they can fully have their best team and their best foot forward going into the postseason. I just think that, though, that's not the right move in this situation. Ben Roethlisberger is obviously in a slump, and he is currently probably doubting his abilities because he has been terrible. His throws have been very errant, and he has really not made the best decisions, and he's not really looking like a veteran quarterback. He's looking like a young Jameis Winston in Tampa Bay. Now, there are a few things that they can do to keep this on track, and I think that it starts with saying today, you're starting today, Ben Roethlisberger, but you need to really show us that you're going to get the start during this postseason. Because honestly, the way that he's been playing, I would start MAson Rudoph. Because MAson Rudoph is a wild card, but he could do better than a Ben Roethlisberger who's going to throw into the defender's hands. That's happened far too many times for a quarterback of his caliber and of his experience, and they need to make sure that they lay down some rules. Mike Tomlin needs to really get on his back and say, you're going to play this way today, or else we're not going to see Ben Roethlisberger in the playoffs. Because if they do that, then that'll solidify their chances. That'll make sure that he knows that he needs to perform well this game and really work through this slump. This is his final regular season game. He needs to get his confidence back. Another thing is the receivers and the rest of the offense. The offense, he's not getting any help at Roethlisberger. Juju's terrible. James Washington is another receiver that's the wide receiver 3. He's okay, but he doesn't have the star power enough to really do anything. He's not a huge difference. Deontay Johnson does get a lot of volume, makes a lot of catches, but he does have a dropping problem, which really hurts the offense because if they throw to him, he might drop a wide open pass, which I've seen far too many times for a receiver of his caliber. And also, James Conner's terrible. At this point, just bench him, start Benny Snell, because it has been an absolute train wreck running the ball. The offensive line's fantastic. There's no excuse for not being able to produce yards in the running game, and they have not done that at all. So they need to really make sure that they can get this running game under control this final week. You cannot bench these players because you need to build up some confidence, because if you watch the channel frequently, you know how much I talk about momentum and confidence building and stuff like that going into future games. Teams will go on streaks of 5-game win streaks, and also if they lose and their confidence is going to go down, they lose a lot more games. That's happening with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their confidence is dropping. They narrowly beat the Colts, which they should have blown them out because they are a good team, I guess, but really, I'm not too happy with what I've been seeing of them. I'm not a Pittsburgh fan, but I'm not too confident in what I've been seeing when I've watched the games. Against the Bengals, they looked absolutely awful. They let Ryan Finley-led offense completely picked apart a pretty good defense, I guess, because when you look at their defense on paper, it is extremely good. Between Minkah Fitzpatrick, Joe Hayden, Bud Dupree, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, there's so much talent on that defense. Their scheme is not good, though. They're letting up too many deep balls, which really we shouldn't see because their secondary is one of the best in the league, if not the best. We should be seeing a lot less allowed deep, but that's been happening far too much, and really when you go into the playoffs, you're only going to play good teams, and you're going to have a tough schedule. So really, you can't allow that. You have to tighten up on defense, especially with what you've got to work with, because Mike Tomlin has really been doing well earlier in the season to make sure that he can use what he has, so maybe they eliminate the running game a little bit more. They pass the ball a little bit more. They make Ben Roethlisberger, they give him some easier passes. They kind of build up his confidence so that they can maybe have some more momentum going into the playoffs, which is exactly what they need to see if they want to find success in these playoffs, because the playoffs are not your regular season schedule. They're not going to play the Cincinnati Bengals twice. They're not going to play these easy teams. They had a very easy schedule. They played the Jaguars. They had one of the easiest schedules in the league. And they did well for the first part of the season, but when they actually started losing games, they lost a lot of games. So you win this week, or I think they're going to be out round one of the playoffs without a question. Also, MAson Rudoph needs to get the start if Ben Roethlisberger does not perform. I know that's a very unpopular opinion, and I know I'm probably going to receive some heat for that in the playoffs, but honestly, I have no faith in Ben Roethlisberger. I don't think he's good. I think you really need to make some changes if you want to find success in these playoffs. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. This is the first video I'm doing about the NFL playoffs. I'm super excited. I'm going to be bringing you guys a lot of NFL playoff content. So make sure you subscribe and turn on the post notifications so that you can see right when I upload a playoff video. As always, thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next one.